NATO says the buildup of sophisticated weapons by separatists in Ukraine is concerning. For more on NATO's warning, we're joined by Jorge Benitez. He is the Director of NATOSource and a Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. Welcome back to the show. You know, you've been hearing in reports here on CCTV America and out there that an international team that was sent to the site has been denied complete and total access to that accident investigation. So what happens now? Does this become more complicated? And who should be the body overseeing this investigation?
Well, this tragedy took place over Ukrainian airspace. And as a result, they should be, by international law, they should be taking the lead on this. But unfortunately, because of the conflict that's taking place in eastern Ukraine, the crash took place over areas that are held by the rebels. So a lot of the evidence has already been contaminated, and a lot of, as you pointed out, access to the scene itself has been prevented. And where the fear is that the black boxes from the airplane are now on their way to Moscow.
And that is still in dispute. There's been talk about that all day, that it still could be in that region. NATO is concerned about the buildup of weapons in the region, but what happens now given the situation with this accident? How will that affect the weapons that are still in that region?
Well, right now, the military commander of NATO warned 2 weeks ago that more weapons were being provided to separatists by Russia, and not just more weapons, but more advanced weapons, such as these surface-to-air missiles that we are suspected of being used in this attack. And if we continue to see more of these things, we're going to see an escalation of the violence and the conflict that's already taken place in eastern Ukraine.
So what happens now? Who can mediate the situation at hand? You saw that the Dutch Prime Minister had strong words. The Malaysian Prime Minister is also demanding some things regarding the investigation. Is it up to someone to step up and take charge, or will it require an international body like NATO? Do you see NATO getting involved here?
I don't see NATO will have a direct role in this, but I see that the members of NATO should have a strong leadership role in this, particularly since the majority of the people that were killed were Dutch, and the Netherlands is a member of NATO. President Obama today, in his address from the Rose Garden, he pointed out that he seems to be dealing with this. He's called for an international criminal investigation of what took place. Unfortunately, I think that that's a bit naive. I also think it's a counterproductive policy because there's a war going on in eastern Ukraine, and you can't have a criminal investigation taking place while there's a war going on.
Do you anticipate any kind of ceasefire for the investigation to get underway?
As we've seen in the past, ceasefires have been declared, but the separatists have not supported them.
All right, Jorge Benitez, as always, we appreciate your time and insight.